This hat looks ridiculously large in this video, and there are dogs chewing in the background. You're gonna have to deal with both. Just FYI. Hi, my name is Brianna. I am a disability advocate. I am physically and mentally disabled as well as visually impaired. And I want to talk about a couple of things. Today we're talking about 5 things not to say to a disabled person. Now, this is like your clickbait kind of thing where it's like 5 things not to say to da da da, 5 things not to say to da da da. So there's that, but also these are things that either have been said to me in real life or have been said to people I know in real life. And so I wanted to share them with you and let you know that these things are not cool to be said to people. And they're very commonly said to people, specifically young adults. If you are disabled and a young adult, these are the ones that you get all the freaking time, or the ones that you're like, why did you just say that? Or the ones that when you talk to an older person, you get so frustrated because usually it's older people. So if you're a older person and you're like, what do you mean, what things not to say to a disabled young person? These are the things that you don't want to say. I've decided not to cut out things. You're gonna have to see my insanity in all of it. Well, it's not insanity. It's autism and ADHD. Lots of ADHD. So, 5 things not to say to a disabled person. First thing is, you're too young to be dealing with that. Okay, so disability does not discriminate on age. It is the only minority group that you can become a part of at any age. You can become a part of, anyone can become a part of this minority group at any age for a bazillion reasons. So, no, I'm not too young to be disabled. I am relatively young to be disabled, but there is a significant portion of young adults who are disabled. Now, that study that I'm thinking of doesn't specifically discuss mental disabilities, I believe. I think it's more physical disabilities. But it is the case that there is a large portion of the disabled population that is young people. They don't get seen very often, and oftentimes they have invisible disabilities. But disabled people do exist as young people. And it doesn't discriminate on age. I am going blind. That is not an age thing. That is a genetic thing. I am autistic. That is a genetic thing. We'll talk about that at some point, but autism is genetic. I have ADHD, which is another genetic thing. Those two are normally seen as little kid things, but older people have those. You little kids grow up and they don't grow out of autism. They don't grow out of ADHD. And they don't end up growing out of blindness. You can't, once your vision is gone, most of the time it can't come back. And yeah, it's more common to lose your vision and your hearing at an older age, but it doesn't change the fact that people can be blind at any age. People can be physically disabled, people can be mentally disabled at any age. That just is what it is. The next one, what did you do to yourself? If you have ever said this, it drives young people up a wall. Absolutely drives them up a wall. At least does me. It assumes, first of all, that it's an injury. That it's injured of some kind. And second of all, and most importantly, it assumes that you're the one who injured yourself. It assumes that it puts the blame on me for my disability. I'll be using my cane. What did you do to yourself? I didn't do nothing to myself. This was done to me. This is something that happened. This has either been done to me. That's an option. It's not something that I have had anybody do something to me, but usually a car crash, things like that. I didn't do anything to myself. Occasionally, that is the case where you did something stupid and flipped yourself over and hurt yourself. jumping on a trampoline, you can hurt yourself. But assuming that every young person who is disabled injured themselves is incredibly ableist and incredibly judgmental of young people, assuming that they are the ones at fault for their own disability. It puts a lot of blame on the young person. It makes it very difficult. It makes it very frustrating. I am asking you very, very bigly, I'm asking you very, very importantly, don't do this. It really, really, really frustrates me. It makes me feel like I am invalid in my disability. It invalidates all of the struggles that I've had, all of the fighting I've done to fix myself, everything like that. It's very hard. That's not how, insert disease here, works. You don't know that disease better than my doctors do. In fact, likely you don't know better than I do, because I have done copious amounts of research on this topic. If you are disabled and invisibly so and chronically ill specifically, you have probably done so much research on this topic. You have to be your own advocate. You have to learn as much as possible about the topic. That does not mean you go to WebMD and you learn random stuff. It means like you actually have to learn stuff and then teach your doctor how to care for you. You can go to specialists and they might know. I am lucky that I've been able to go to specialists for a lot of my stuff, but I'm the only one who's living in my body. Only one who lives in my body is me. You don't know anything about my symptoms like I do, because it's my body. That being said, if you know an interesting fact about it, you can say something, but don't say, that's not how that works. You don't look like you have autism? No, autism doesn't affect you like that, because autism only looks like a 5-year-old with severe autism, with severe, how do I say this correctly? Because I want to say high functioning, and that is not an acceptable term to say. High support needs. You don't look like my 5-year-old that has high support needs, so you can't be autistic. Have you tried blank? No. Or maybe I have. Do I want your opinion on a random thing like essential oils? No. Did I ask for it? No. Don't give me unsolicited advice. I have literally had somebody tell me to take more vitamin A. Now, for my particular type of blindness, vitamin A can cause me to go blinder faster. I can go more impaired. I can become more blind than I currently am faster if I eat more carrots. If I take any supplements with vitamin A in them, I have to be very cautious to make sure that I don't take any extra vitamin A. I have to take specific eye drops if I'm going to take, or specific supplements. If I'm going to take supplements, I have to make sure they don't have vitamin A in them. Because if they have vitamin A for eyes, they can cause me to go blind faster. If you don't have the same condition I do, don't say anything. And if you do have the same condition I do, first of all, you aren't my doctor. Second of all, ask. Would you like me to give you some of the tips that I've got for my disability? If not, that's totally fine. If they say yes, you can bring up your tips. But that's only like if you are a member of the same disability that I am. If you are also having fibromyalgia, if you also have autism, if you also have ADHD, if you are also visually impaired, specifically in a particular way, then yes, you can say, hey, do you want any of the tips that I've got? I would love to share them with you. But saying, have you tried essential oils? That's just rude. It's just not fair. Like, no, it's assuming that I spent thousands of dollars on medical bills and MRIs and doctor's appointments and all of these different things to be told, oh, you could have paid for an essential oil and that would have fixed your problem. That's not fair, and it's not true. So just be more thoughtful about what you say when you say something like that. This is another one that every single young adult has heard, and most people with disabilities have heard if they are disabled. You're just not trying hard enough. They have heard some varying form of you're just not trying hard enough. I hear that all the freaking time. All the time. This assumes that disability is a result of laziness. That if I were less lazy, I would be capable of functioning. And that is just not the case. We often work much harder than others just to do simple tasks. So like, I put my hair up today. I really should take a shower. But if I took a shower today, I would probably not have the energy, at least if I took a shower before I did this video, I wouldn't have the energy to record this video. It's really, really bad. It can be incredibly difficult. If you've ever heard of spoon theory, that's an interesting one that I will have to do a video on. I just typed in what is spoon theory to my list of YouTube video ideas, so that will be another one for another time. But basically, everybody has a battery, and some people's batteries are 2023 brand new batteries, and some people's batteries are from the 1990s, and they're still trying to go. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter necessarily the age, it matters the quality of the battery, and the battery is really, really old, and it's really, really damaged. And so the battery just doesn't hold a charge. And using it for an hour depletes a lot more of the battery power than something else. Using the camera feature will use a lot more battery power. That is the case with trying harder. You can run out of battery. And that is very true of disabilities. I have to be very careful physically what I do, because if I do one thing today, I will not be able to do the other things I need to do today. And it can be as bad as if I brush my teeth, I won't be able to make my food. It can be really, really bad. So assuming that it's laziness takes away all of the effort we did to get up in the morning. We took so much effort out of our day just to get out of bed. And we took so much effort out of our day to feed ourselves. That's what's frustrating, is when you say, you're just not trying hard enough. Like, we haven't been climbing Mount Everest while everybody else has been going down like this, like, slight incline. It's very difficult. Bonus statement. This is one that I've heard probably once a week. As a disabled cashier, one with a cane, so it's obvious I'm disabled. You shouldn't be sitting down. Now, first of all, there are 1,000 ways to get someone to help you that do not involve telling somebody to stand up. That is possibly the rudest way for you to say, hey, I need your help. There's so many other ways. But you can literally say, you shouldn't be sitting down. And that's happened to me all the time. And then when I say, I'm disabled, they say, it's a joke. You shouldn't take a joke. It's not a joke. I know I'm autistic. I know I don't get the joke all the time. But that's not funny. I would happily stand up for 8 hours a day. Actually, no, correction. Nobody should have to stand up for an 8-hour shift. That's ridiculous. However, I would happily be like my coworkers if I could. I am not. That puts me at a disadvantage, and oftentimes I end up getting bullied. Not by my coworkers, because I've got good coworkers, but oftentimes we can end up being bullied by our coworkers, by our boss, and by our customers. I have been bullied by customers so often that I could only handle 3 days a week of work. Physically, I can't. Mentally, I can't. Disability-wise, I just can't do it. It is incredibly exhausting. Just 3 days. And it's not my coworkers. It's not my boss. My boss and my coworkers are incredibly understanding of my disabilities. It is 100% the people that I meet on a regular basis and having to mask. So hearing this is like, can we just not? Can I not have to deal with you today? I'm sorry, there's a dog with a bone, like I said. Can I just not have to deal with you today? I don't want to have to deal with this. It's not something that I need to be dealing with. It's not something you should say. You can, if you have to, ask, why are you sitting down? But even then, it's none of your business. Assume that I have permission from my employer to do this. Don't assume that I'm doing it out of laziness. Assume that I have permission from my employer to do so. Just assume that somebody has permission from their employer to do something, unless they're being incredibly discriminatory. And moreover, why should I have to stand? If you need help, then yes, I should get up. But why should a person be made to stand for 8 hours a day? It's incredibly damaging. The number of people I know who have to stop because they are in so much pain, because standing up for that long of a time period can seriously damage your feet all the way up to your head. Like, they damage everything, including your neck, doing that. And it can be incredibly painful. I know people with chronic pain. The number of people I know with chronic pain in the place that I work is ridiculous. And they don't even like identify themselves as disabled. That's just, they have chronic pain from where they work. Just in retail, just for having to stand up on hard cement floors all day. This is something that we need to consider. We need to consider what comes out of our mouth when we speak. Like, is this something that's going to upset the person I'm talking to? Is this meant to ask a question? And if so, could I learn the information in a nicer way? Or is it any of my business to learn that information right now? Could I ask them instead for YouTube videos on the subject? That's a possibility. It's important to try and change the way we have our ableism, because it can be very difficult, very frustrating, and very hard for disabled people to have to deal with that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate it more than you know. If you liked it, please consider liking, and if you were interested in more of this content, please consider subscribing. I absolutely really appreciate any subscribers I get, any YouTube recommendations you guys have, and if you have any questions specifically on disability and want to know more information, or you're like, I would like to hear about this topic or this topic, please let me know. Give me some ideas. I always am interested to know more and do some more research and educate everybody about it. So, bye.